So I've just been binge reading all the Dexter books like an absolute madman. And I was both confused and terrified when I reached the third book. The third book features a group of people sacrificing children, a cult known as the Cult of Moloch. Now, this cult has a very strange connection to what we know as Dexter's Dark Passenger. In today's video, we're diving into the origin of the Dark Passenger and why it later became the most controversial moment in the entire Dexter book series. A moment that left pretty much every single reader very upset and disappointed. The Dark Passenger is the name that Dexter Morgan uses to describe his urge to kill throughout the books as well as the TV show. And it has always been a metaphor, just Dexter's way of talking about his psychopathy. However, in Dexter in the Dark, which is the third book, everything we knew about Dexter is being challenged. Dexter's passenger is actually revealed to be a literal supernatural entity that lives inside Dexter. This is made super obvious when the Dark Passenger suddenly abandons Dexter and is gone throughout most of the book. This really shows that this is a complete separate thing from Dexter, and Dexter in the Dark is actually the only book in the series that is not only written in the point of view of Dexter, but also in the point of view of the Dark Passenger, and that is also referred to as it in the book. Without the passenger, Dexter finds himself unable to operate with his usual precision. He feels empty, exposed, and almost human in a way that very much unsettles him. But where did it come from and where did it go? The book explains that Dexter's Dark Passenger is one of many entities born from an ancient being called Moloch. More of Moloch in chapter 2 of this video. So these entities have been around for ages, feeding off of fear and violence. They attach themselves to people that have been through extreme trauma and that show evil tendencies, people just like Dexter. They push them towards violent acts. And in Dexter's case, the passenger didn't just fuel his urges, it also gave him hyper focus and protected him from emotional pain. So the Dark Passenger is not only a thing that makes Dexter violent, it actually helps him become more skilled at being violent and doing these horrendous acts. So you could say that, the Dark Passenger is like a literal superpower. Dexter is the Dark Defender with his Dark Passenger in this book. So it gives him like superhuman, senses. Throughout the book, Dexter tries desperately to get his passenger back, but nothing seems to work. By the end of the book, Dexter hits absolute rock bottom at his wedding. He starts thinking about the life that he has in front of him, and he pictures himself as a dull family man. And he pictures himself going through life without his Dark Passenger. And the thought of this, it gets him overwhelmed and he drowns in despair. And that is the very moment when the Dark Passenger finally decides to go back into Dexter's life. It had been drawn in by Dexter's suffering. So just a little side note here, this is actually probably one of the funniest moments in the entire book series. I know many people don't like the books, but this moment is just too funny because a little bit earlier in the book, Dexter was about to be thrown into a fire pit, and Astor and Cody was also about to get killed in front of him, but then he didn't suffer that much in that moment. But at his wedding, that is when he suffers the most, and that is when the passenger comes back. I think that is very, very funny. The big threat in Dexter in the Dark is the Cult of Moloch and Moloch, an ancient god associated with human sacrifice. Historically, Moloch is often linked to child sacrifice, and Moloch is, often depicted as a bull-headed figure. In Dexter in the Dark, Moloch isn't just an old myth. He's very much alive and he's actually the source of the Dark Passengers. So the cult in the novel is made of people who believe in Moloch's power, and these people perform ritual killings to please him. They are aware of the Dark Passengers and see them as pieces of Moloch's will. To them, serving Moloch means embracing violence and sacrifice. Through this cult, Dexter learns that his own Dark Passenger isn't unique and is just one of many fragments of this ancient terrifying force. So there are actually many, many more Dark Passengers that have been kind of roaming the earth like from the dawn of time, from the very beginning of time, and they will continue to do so and find new hosts that are suitable for their needs. It's no surprise that Dexter in the Dark sparked a lot of backlash. Up until this book, the series was a grounded psychological thriller. Then it suddenly just jumps into supernatural territory and just felt pretty out of place for many fans. So what is the biggest issue? The whole supernatural plot only happens in Dexter in the Dark, and after that the series goes right back to treating Dexter's dog passengers nothing more than a metaphor. It's just like the third book exists in its own little bubble and never fully connect to the rest of the story. Personally, I get both sides. I get the sides that likes Dexter in the Dark, and I get the side that doesn't like Dexter in the Dark. I think Dexter in the Dark was pretty weak. I mean, the writing is a little bit repetitive and can be a little bit boring. I think the end was like packed with exciting stuff, but everything leading up to the ending was pretty bland. But I didn't mind the supernatural, storyline that much. I think it was quite cool to just know that Dexter is kind of like he has superpowers essentially in this book. To see him fight like godlike entities was pretty cool. I probably prefer, all the regular Dexter over this one. So that was the origin of the Dark Passenger. Please tell me in the comments what you think about this plotline. Like I said, I didn't mind that much. I know many people did, but yeah. If you enjoyed this video, you will probably enjoy this one that is popping up on the screen right now. It's about the 3 most disturbing things in the Dexter book series. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I see you in the next one.